Hi, I'd like to talk to you today about deposit scams. With construction lead times leading out further and further, say 2 to almost a year sometimes, a unscrupulous contractor is going to prey, or scammer artist is preying on that lead time. And what they're going to do is they come in, they give you an estimate, they accept the deposit, and then they don't perform the work. And it's very easy to do that right now in this environment because all contractors are so far out that typically, if the deposit scam did occur, it comes to roost very quickly when someone doesn't show up to perform the work or shoddy workmanship is being performed. That now the state's getting involved, local jurisdictions are getting involved, and that business or entity is shut down and debarred from doing business in your state or jurisdiction. So this entity, it comes online, they promise to do work, they accept your hard-earned money, you give them $10,000, 2 months later they don't show up, and it turns out they've done this multiple times over. So this unscrupulous scammer has probably started doing some advertising. You say, hey, great, I want a new air conditioner. Or they come in, they give you an estimate, you say, great, give them money, they don't show up. And you need to protect yourself from that. And there are some very easy ways that you as the consumer can protect yourself against a deposit scam. And you should be just doing this in general with any contractor, but as length of depth of time that a contractor has been in business, this is less and less of a concern for you. So for example, we've been in business for over 10 years, and if you give me money, we're going to perform the work, and if we can't perform the work or get the equipment, we're going to happily return your money. But accepting deposit in any of these construction trades is a legitimate business practice, and quite frankly, it's almost impossible not to, because as if you're ordering 2 to 6 months worth of equipment out, nobody's financed for that internally. You have to accept consumer deposits to buy this equipment. So what can you do as a consumer to protect yourself against a deposit scam? Make sure they're licensed. Go to your state agency. In our state, it's Labor and Industries. Make sure that they're a legitimate contractor. They have their insurance in a row. They have their workman's comp in a row. Scroll down that website and see, do they have violations? And now every business is going to have maybe some violation that's probably minor, and that's okay. But sift through that. If they have a lot of contractor strikes, claims against their insurance, it's all public information. If you're deciding to install, for example, mechanical equipment, go to your local city's website or call the building office and ask, has this contractor been pulling permits in our jurisdiction? And usually it's a website, you see a list of addresses and names of work that's been performed and a description and the value of work, and you can follow up on that. You can click to see on the permit that say, okay, great, air conditioner was installed, it was inspected, it passed, or it was inspected, there was a violation or code compliance issue, and usually it's minor, everybody's going to have these, and then it was corrected. So like a week later someone came out, put the extra strap, and you can read all of these little things that the inspectors have noted, and it's a great way of finding out, are they following up with these violations and things like that. Perfectly normal, but red flags if there's no permits or very little permits, or holy moly, they installed this equipment and it's not passing inspection because of big time code violations. Wrong area violates things, because inevitably you may be trapped up in that same thing that an inspector noted. Additionally, make sure they have workman's compensation insurance and things like that, because if someone does get injured on your property, they are your responsibility, unless they have workman's compensation insurance, into which it's handled by the employer. Or ask the very important questions: are you using subcontracted labor on my project? Do you have employees that do this kind of work? And very well, you can verify that with that same state agency, because it will tell you how many employees they have insurance on. So in the state of Washington, it'll say 2 to 5, 2 to 10 to 20 employees. So you got to do that homework. Ask for physical references, especially on new businesses, because Google, Yelp, all these review sites, they can be faked. I myself, I get probably a message every day or two with someone promising they can provide me with 1,000 great Google reviews, great Yelp reviews, and they have a network of bots or people that they pay to write glowing reviews. So look at that. Look at the reviews. Have people posted pictures? And we've been in business 10 years. People have posted pictures. Hey, we don't have fans sometimes. Sometimes 1 and 2 star reviews aren't a bad thing because it proves they're a legitimate business. If you've been in business for 10, 20 years, there's going to be people that don't like you, or they're complaining. That right there shows that this is a legitimate business, because the glowing business that just appeared that has 500 or thousands of great Google reviews, it's probably fake. Because someone started a business and they have 10,000 customers in the span of 2 weeks or a month. It's not really possible. Even if it was a giant corporation, they open up a local office, how would they have convinced 1,000 people to write a glowing Google review right away? Third, we picked up on those permits earlier. Probably chances are they're a couple of minutes from your house if they're in a city. So drive to those addresses. If there's a new glowing air conditioner on the side of the house, yeah, probably a legitimate contractor. They're doing work. You can see the sticker. Now, don't trespass, as people have property rights, so we don't want to intrude on people's privacy, but walking by the house isn't a crime. And secondly, does the contractor have an address? Go to the address. It's going to be a local contractor, or they must have a local office somewhere, and it could be the person's house. It's totally fine. There's a lot of home-based contractors. But if it goes to a P.O. box or an address that's in a strip mall and it doesn't have a sign, or you can't open the door and say hello to the dispatchers or whatnot, maybe that's a telltale sign. Now, not everybody's working from home, but you can kind of tell if there's a business there or not. So do that due diligence. If you end up at a UPS store or storage unit or some random location, yeah, probably a fake business. Those little hairs on the back of your neck should be rising right away, and you should start asking questions. Secondly, is it too good to be true? You've gotten 3 estimates, and contractor X, been in business 20 years, 10 years, he's $22,000. Contractor B, $23,000. Contractor Y, the new guy that promises he can get the work done in 2 months. The other guys are 6 months out. And he's at $15,000 for the same equipment, same everything. And you now have to ask yourself, why is he $7,000 cheaper than the nearest competitor? Now, construction profit margins aren't the greatest on the planet. Let's say a contractor's trying to make 10 to 20% profit margin on an installation. And you have to make a healthy profit because there's taxes and overhead. And this person comes in at $7,000 cheaper. How is that possible? If you're an HVAC contractor, electrical contractor, you're paying 6+ figure packages for your employees. You have trucks, you have rent, you have insurance. There's not that much wiggle room. So you should be asking yourself, how in the world did this person come up with a great, too good to be true number? Do they just want my money and they're going to run with it? So that goes to how you're going to deal with the payment of a deposit. If someone's asking you for a check, that's fine, but do they accept a credit card? Pay the deposit with a credit card. You may have to pay a fee, 2 or 3% with some people. Again, totally fine, because fraudulent transactions are protected with a credit card. They are not protected with a check. They're not protected with a debit card. They're not protected with cash. Cash, probably the worst way to protect yourself, is because there's no record. Now you can just throw. It's easy to get away with it. Now, some people do pay us in cash. And that is fine. We'll handle it. But I have no problem accepting cash, bank financing, credit card, or things like that. If the contractor offers financing, you can go through the in-house financing, and that also usually protects yourself, because to offer financing, a contractor needs to have been in business for 2 years, and the bank won't be doing contractor direct financing with someone that's continually cutting and running, because, well, bank is not getting paid. They've now paid the contractor their deposit for in their system, so the bank's not generally going to do business with an unscrupulous contractor either. So do these certain steps, do your due diligence, especially with the new contractor. Now, don't dog a new contractor either. I've been in business for 10 years. Here's second generation, and I work with my dad. Now, we all started somewhere, so someone out there might have started a business, and they're fully intent on delivering the product. And you make those steps, permits, go to the house, make sure that this person truly is who they are. And when red flags or the hairs are standing on the back of your neck, act on those. So when someone comes to do an estimate on your home for, let's say, an air conditioner, they do a measure, look outside. Did they show up in a wrapped truck or a clean white van? Not everybody likes to mark them because they're a target for theft. So that's an unfortunate part of being an electrician or HVAC contractor right now, is that if you have a wrapped van, thieves are looking for them. So not everybody wants to advertise that they are actually an HVAC contractor, but usually they have a clean white van or box truck that's newer. Red flags will kind of come up when dilapidated truck. Now, new business, that may be all they can afford, and that's fine. It's not 100% of the equation, but if a HVAC contractor salesperson is showing up in a dilapidated vehicle, that should be a red flag right there. Do you do business with an attorney that doesn't drive a high-end car? Now, sure, there might be an attorney with a bad car, but generally those markers for success are there. Usually I'm wearing a shirt. I don't always wear a uniform shirt, but it's a hot day sometimes and I have to change into an Under Armour shirt because I've sweat through the first two. So not all of these things may be a red flag, but if it's too good to be true, they're showing up in they just don't look like a contractor, or if they have a white van, and you can walk out to the truck as they get in. If they have a bunch of tools and gauges and wire in the back, probably an electrician or HVAC technician. If it's just an empty white van, they're trying to look like a contractor, and that should scare you. Now, I have sometimes, one of our guys has a messy truck. That's a sign someone's doing a lot of work. If he's sparkly clean truck, hey, he's got OCD, but he's got tools in the back. If they look unused, run, because someone is making their vehicle look like a work van. They went to Home Depot and they're playing the part, but that drill never got used. So it's just like kind of use your common sense right now, because online reviews aren't the best, but these old-fashioned things where we used to feel out a contractor still come into play. Is he talking the talk and walking the walk, or am I in for a ride when I sign a deal with a contractor? Because, hey, ultimately at the end of the day, it's your hard-earned money, and we're out there to perform a service, ensure you're comfortable, ensure your electrical is safe and sound. But there are people preying on the pandemic and the supply chain problems in ways we haven't seen before, because it's just so easy. So you have to protect yourself and do some simple steps. Go online. Also do your research on how to avoid construction scams. But yes, construction scams are coming in full light right now because of long lead times. And really all you need to start a business is $85, and you can file with any the state agency, and it can take months for that state agency to catch on to you're not a real contractor, you're not a real business, and then they get debarred. So because of these long lead times, someone could pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in deposit money and get away with it. So stay safe out there, protect yourself, do your due diligence, and just use common sense as your best defense. If it's too good to be true, hey, these guys haven't been in business that long, but that's okay too. But you just feel it out. Thanks. Have a great day.